Usually when a house is haunted, it's due to a deceased tenant of the house who refuses to leave, sometimes even a whole family. But what about the resting place of many dead? How haunted can they be? Here's my top 10 haunted cemeteries. Number 10. Gettysburg Cemetery. Gettysburg was the site of one of the most brutal battles in America during the Civil War. More than 7,800 soldiers died within the 3-day span. Many have claimed to see both Union and Confederate soldiers pacing around the Gettysburg Battlefield, and some have even stated that the soldiers would come right up to them and warn them to leave. Not only that, but they claimed to suddenly smell gunfire and sulfur. Number 9. Salem Cemetery. In Hendrysburg, Ohio, many who visit the Salem Cemetery have seen the ghost of Louise Fox. She was the first citizen murdered in the little town of Ohio. Her future husband had killed her in a fit of rage and attempted to kill himself but failed. Locals have spotted the 13-year-old ghost crying at a gravesite, as well as the places she was murdered, travelling between the short distance. Some locals have also heard the growling of large dogs, known to them to be hellhounds. These hounds, they believe, are meant to guard the cemetery and keep the ghosts from escaping. Number 8. Westminster Burial Ground. Located in Baltimore, this particular cemetery houses many famous people's resting place. Such guests include the US President James Buchanan, many Revolutionary soldiers, and even the ever-so-famous poet Edgar Allan Poe. One of the few ghost stories originating from here is that the skull of a murdered minister can be heard screaming all throughout the day and, more creepily, all through the night. And despite the skull being gagged and buried in a cement block, it hasn't stopped him from screaming. Number 7. Chase Vault. In Barbados, there is a church that contains many remains of deceased relatives. Inside this chase vault, coffins are placed in particular order and then sealed up again until the next relative needs to be placed to rest. Legend has it that inside the sealed vault, the coffins will rearrange themselves, as one did so in the early 19th century. Number 6. Highgate Cemetery. Highgate Cemetery has around 50,000 graves and is known to be the most active cemetery in all of the UK. With an underground catacomb, it's no wonder why people would think this place is haunted. Many people have claimed to see various ghosts, and even a vampire who drinks the blood of dead animals found in the graveyard. Number 5. Boot Hill Cemetery. In the United States, there are plenty of towns that claim to be the most haunted in all the country. Tombstone, Arizona is one of them. If you're a fan of westerns, you know this as the town where the infamous OK Corral gunfight took place. 3 members of the infamous Clanton gang died during that gunfight, and it is said that their spirits remained in the cemetery along with the other outlaws. Some claim to see the gunfighters roaming around the graveyard, looking for a fight and a chance to seek revenge. Number 4. St. Louis Cemetery. Down in New Orleans is where one of the most haunted cemeteries is located. Of course, it would be located in the Cajun city. St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 has been claimed to be the most haunted cemetery in the world. Amongst the dead, Voodoo Queen Marie Laveau is buried here. Because of the way New Orleans is built, the graves are buried on top of the ground. Many who have visited the graves have heard eerie screams from inside the tombs and graves, along with sightings of ghosts roaming around. This includes the ghosts of some cats and dogs. Number 3. Père Lachaise Cemetery. This cemetery is the largest in Paris with its 300,000 graves. This particular site is the resting place of many famous composers and generals from the Napoleonic era. One famous artist is Jim Morrison, lead singer to The Doors. Some have claimed to see Jim Morrison wandering around with the other ghosts. But the most active ghosts are a loving couple, Marcel Proust and Maurice Ravel. They will rise from their graves night by night in search of each other. Number 2. La Recollecta. A young girl by the name Rufina Cambaceres was mistakenly pronounced dead and buried alive. The cemetery worker at La Recollecta had seen inside her crypt a broken lid and feared for grave robbers. Inside he found her, covered in scratch marks, her face and hands bruised and blooded. The only conclusion is that she was trying to escape and died trying. Locals claim to see Rufina haunting the cemetery, digging up other graves in hopes of helping anyone else who might have been buried alive like she. Number 1. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. Down in the South Chicago suburbs, if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find this abandoned cemetery. It was originally a resting place for German and Russian immigrant workers who died while working on the Illinois-Michigan Canal. Soon, it became rumoured to be a dumping site for Chicago's organised crime families during the 20s and 30s. There have been many reports of hauntings at this cemetery. It varies from white glowing orbs to figures of religious monks and even a black dog. The black dog will appear by the entrance of the cemetery and disappear as soon as anyone goes near it. But the most famous and frequently seen apparition has been the Madonna, not the singer, but the female woman who will simply stare through you while she sits upon a gravestone. Anyway, I hope you like this week's list. It's been quite a grim one, but a fitting mood for this month. Anyway, if you'd like to see another macabre top 10, here's my top 10 cursed dolls. And if you'd like to see my previous top 10, here's my top 10 cannibal facts.